I am so excited to be with you all today virtually for the Leading Edge internship program for the Nonprofit Alliance. Part of my excitement comes from the fact that I just came off of my homecoming weekend at Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. It was such a wonderful reminder of the college experience, the importance of friendships and networking, and just being grounded around people who want to see all of us excel, succeed, enjoy life, work hard, play hard, and do all of the great things that you all are about to do over the next day or so. I am Pamela Taylor, the Chief Communications and Marketing Officer for Share Our Strength. Most folks know us for the No Kid Hungry campaign, but I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit. So I want to first start by saying thank you to the Nonprofit Alliance for inviting me to be the keynote speaker today, and especially to Shelby Truxon for her guidance and all of her help to just get me to this moment and tell me all of the things that I needed to cover today. And we're going to cover some great things. So listen up, get your notebooks out, get your computers out, your laptops out, however you want to take notes, however you want to listen and absorb. I'm going to share with you some things that have helped me throughout my career and hopefully will help you in your career as you're about to get started. So there will be three things that I'm going to talk about today. One, school, personal, work life, after school, all of the balance, all of the self-care. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some career planning because I know you all are interested in thinking about that right now. And then I want to tell you about the nonprofit industry, what a wonderful industry it is, and how I came to be a part of it. So let's start with the school part. As you heard, I just came off of my homecoming weekend. I went to undergraduate school at Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, and it was absolutely unequivocally, without a doubt, the best decision that I made in my entire life for education and for academic growth and learning. Going to a historically Black college does something for your soul. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to go to an HBCU. If you go to a predominantly white institution or an HBCU or a Hispanic learning institution, all of them provide a richness and a depth that will carry you through your adult career, even if you don't recognize it and know it in the moment. But wherever you are in school, whatever you're doing, whatever your path is, absorb this time. It will fill your soul in a way that will carry you so much further in life than you can ever imagine. There will be times much further down the road that you'll look back on this time as a student, looking for internships, learning and growing, and say, I was prepared. I've been prepared because of what I learned in school. So let me talk to you a little bit about my career and my journey through education to get me to where I am in my career. I was a political science major at Hampton. I'm going to say Hampton a lot because I just love it. I was a political science major, and my goal was to finish and go to law school. I came to DC right after undergraduate school with a political science degree in hand. Where else do you go but to Washington, DC with a political science degree? It is the official relocation center for all of us political science majors. What I didn't do is I didn't follow the typical political science graduate path. I didn't work on the Hill. I wasn't a staffer. I didn't go into politics because you know what? I wanted to do one thing, go to law school. So I worked in a law firm And I spent 1 year. I wanted to take 1 year off from academic life, from being a student, from studying and reading and writing papers and all of the things that I know you all are doing right now. I just needed a break, but I also wanted to make sure I knew what part of law I wanted to practice, what part of law I wanted to study, what part of law I wanted to make my focus. 6 months in, guess what? I hated it. There was nothing about it that I liked. There was nothing about it that I wanted to, one, spend the next 3 years doing, two, take out loans. So I was going to be $250,000 plus in the hole. Three, have to study for the bar. And four, I did not want this to be what I was going to do for the rest of my life. The challenge was, ever since the time I was 8 years old, I only thought being about a lawyer. I only thought about being a lawyer. So here I am, Washington, D.C., political science degree in hand, working at a law firm, recognizing I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be this. I had no plan B, zero, zilch plan B. So what did I do next? So I took a couple of roles. I worked in some government positions. I worked in higher education. I learned different things, but I hadn't found the thing that spoke to my soul, the thing that I wanted to get up out of bed every day and do and love and enjoy. But that's part of the process. That's part of the journey. I didn't know that at the time, but I do now. And that's what I want you all to learn and understand, part of what I'm going to tell you today. So how did I get to be where I am today? After doing some different roles, government roles and higher education and all of those things, I ended up talking to a headhunter because I had gotten to my wit's end at the role that I was in, and I knew I needed to find something else. So I met with a headhunter, recruiter, search firm, whatever you want to call them now. And I sat with this woman and I talked with her and I told her what I liked or what I thought I would like. I told her what my interests were, and I showed her who I was, what inspired me, what was my energy, what was my passion, but unknown passion. And the woman said to me, "Have you ever thought about doing PR?" I was like, PR? What is that? She said, public relations. I was like, oh no, I don't know anything about that. I've never done that and studied that. I didn't do that in school. She said, I think you would be great at public relations. Communications and marketing and public relations just sounds like something that fits with your energy, your spirit, your interests. So I said, okay. I was 23 years old. And she said, I can send you on an interview tomorrow. I said, tomorrow? Well, okay, I got to get a job. I got to get something that I like. So I went home. I left the search firm's office, went home, got prepared, did a little bit of research for the interview the next day. This was the game changer for me. I went to the interview, got to the building, rode up on the elevator. When the elevator doors opened, I stood there for what seemed like a long time. It was probably just seconds, but I stood there and I took it all in. I saw bold colors. I saw energy. I saw people moving through the lobby. I saw young folks. I saw people that looked like they had a purpose. And I stepped off the elevator and I looked towards the receptionist. And in my mind, in that split second, all of this probably took literally seconds. In that moment, I said, I don't know what these people do here, but I want to do this. And that became and began my career in public relations, marketing, communications, and advertising. I joined one of the largest PR and advertising agencies in the world. At the time, I didn't know this, but it was a great opportunity. I had already been working for a few years. I went in at the very, very entry level role that this organization had to offer, but it was something that just spoke to me so clearly and so distinctly. I didn't care what I had to do. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to know it. I wanted to do it. So, truth be told, I spent a lot of time standing in front of the copier, making copies, getting coffee, sitting in meetings, and taking notes. But what I did was I took advantage of the space that I was in, the meetings that I was in, the rooms that I was in, the people I was around, because I found something that spoke to me. I found something that excited me. And I wanted to learn and absorb as much as I possibly could about it. So, long story short, I'll move to the end. I started as the associate account executive. By the time I moved through my career, I ended up as a vice president at Edelman, which is the world's largest PR firm. And I was leading a department in federal health, public relations, marketing, and communications and advertising. It was a long journey. I don't want you all to think that I went from here to here without, all of the steps in between, but the steps in between helped prepare me for what I'm doing now. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I know a lot of folks might be thinking about, well, I'm still not really sure what I want to do in my career. I think what I'm going to do after undergraduate school is go to grad school. I'm going to get my MBA. I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to get that degree. And that is a good path. But let me tell you something that I learned, that I experienced. I've hired a ton of folks who are 28, 29 years old. They went from undergraduate school, they went to grad school, they did a little bit of internships in between. They don't really know a whole lot about what I need them to do on a day-to-day basis. They've got great degrees, they've gone to great schools, they've learned wonderful things, but it's the practical experience of working that prepares you to be successful. So my tip to you is something that I did, something that I tell folks that I mentor all the time. After you graduate from whatever school you're in, work, get some experience, learn things, do things, mess up things, succeed at things, do all of the things. And then once you start to figure out, here are the things that I like, here are the things that I think I want to make my career path, make my journey, then figure out what type of additional education you might need. You might want to go to culinary school. You might want to go to grad school. You might want to go to law school. You might want to go to medical school. You might want to go and get a vocational degree. Whatever that is, give yourself the space and time to figure that out. And the only way you can do that is by working and being in the industries and being around other people and learning from your mentors and learning from your colleagues. Don't feel like you've got this pressure that you've got to go from undergrad to grad, and then you're going to get this wonderful job and you're going to make all of this money and everything is going to be perfect and you're going to be happy. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some space, give yourself some time to learn and do. So let me also share with you early on experiences. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this as we go through this conversation, but early experiences in mistakes, experiences in success. They are big, bold, wide, and varied. Big mistakes, bold mistakes, varied mistakes. I did all of them. Some of them were performance specific, like I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I did. I didn't want to ask anybody because I didn't want them to know I didn't know what I was doing, and actually ended up making more of a mess of it than if I just asked someone. I made big, bold mistakes in pride and gravitas and hubris, and thinking I knew more than I really did. When you are early in your career, I will tell you this: you know a lot more than you think you do, but you also don't know anything. And both of those two things are true at the same time. The part that I want you to lean in on is trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. This whole theory around the imposter syndrome, we all have it. I get it. I understand it. However, don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Don't diminish yourself to the point where you don't show up and give your best self. You don't show up and contribute to the day, to contribute to the conversation, to contribute to the meeting. You have a lot to offer. With that being said, you also have a lot to learn. And there are people around you that can teach you so much if you ask them. If you find a mentor, a coach, and this can be in the environment in which you work. You don't have to hire somebody to be a coach. You don't have to hire somebody to be your mentor. Find somebody in the organization that you're in, that you connect with, that you admire, that you want to learn from, and ask them to coach you, to mentor you. It doesn't have to be some kind of official arrangement. It can be just sitting in their office or coming to their cube or going to lunch or coffee with them, doing a virtual meeting on Zoom, whatever it is, find those folks. But those two things are not in conflict. You know more than you think you do, but you need folks to tell you what you don't know. So those are like the initial early tips that I want you to think about and embrace and know and understand as you start to embark upon your career. So let's move into number 2, career planning. What does that mean? Career planning it's a journey, y'all. I'm going to tell you this. What you think you love and know and want to do coming out of school in your early 20s, what that looks like in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s is very different. So understand that career planning ebbs and flows. There are folks who have done something for 15 years, and then all of a sudden, they're like, you know what? I really just want to do something else. And they make a complete and total career transition. And that's okay. That's totally fine. Don't think what you start off doing right now is what you're going to do for the next 40 or 50 years. You always have flexibility to switch and move and do different things. And I'll tell you a little bit about how I got to where I am by making a career transition. The other thing is, how can interning, finding mentors, goal setting, help you figure all of this out. Internships are key. Internships allow you to dabble into some things and figure out, is this what I want to do? Is this my law school path? Or is this where I'm like, you know what? I'm getting off this train. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to law school, or whatever it is for you. Internships are so incredibly important. And that's why I'm so excited that you all are a part of this program. The other thing is mentors. I mentioned this, mentors and coaches. Find people that you just want to talk to and learn from. You don't have to work with them. Figure out what they do. Talk to them about what they do. Ask them why they like it. How did they get into it? Would they still do it today if they had any other choice in the world to do something else? Is this the thing that they would do? And why is that? So you've got time. That's why I'm saying, don't feel like you've got to do all of this career planning in a short amount of time. Give yourself the time and space to learn and do and explore. Networking. Ooh, gosh, guys, let me tell you something about networking. Find the people, stay in touch with them. I don't care if it's 10 years down the road, send them a note, ask about their kids, their family, their wives, their spouses, their partners, whoever it is. Just stay in touch, because you never know when you might need to reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you know? Who do you know? Can you connect me? Networking is the game changer, y'all. I am telling you it is. What I learned is the nonprofit space allows you to pick a mission-driven impact that you love, and you can focus on that all day, every day. The beauty of it is you can learn research, you can learn digital, you can learn social media, you can learn strategic planning, you can be a writer, you can do all of the things that I thought was only available in the big corporate for-profit world. All of those things are equally available in the nonprofit space in a much, sometimes smaller environment, sometimes equally as large environment, but there's so much flexibility in it. There isn't the bureaucracy of having to get approval from all of these layers of corporate America and decision makers and bosses and all of these things that you've got to go through. In the nonprofit space, you can wear multiple hats all at one time, or you can wear one hat. It depends on what you want to do. There's so much flexibility, y'all, in the nonprofit space. You can learn so much, you can do so much, so that when you start to evolve your career and really then drive in on where you want not just your experience to be, but your expertise to be. Experience and expertise are not the same. Experience is the things that we do to learn and to have variety. Expertise is what you do when people are like, we need Pamela in the room for this conversation, because this is what she does, this is what she knows, and there's no one in this organization who knows it and does it better than she does. That's your expertise. You want to get to that. So how did I get here? My experience, my work, my personal passion, my professional passion. But I also then got to a point where I needed to hone in on my expertise. I probably do 4 things. 1, first and foremost, public health. 2, marketing communications and advertising is a function, it's a skill set. I do it very well. I love it. I have a really good time doing it. The third thing that I think is the differentiator that I have probably benefited from the most is I understand strategy. No matter what path you take, strategic thinking will always get you in places and spaces that are reserved for those who do it better than anybody else. A couple of other things that I want to talk about in the nonprofit industry. If you're not really sure if this is for you, spend some time volunteering. Whatever your passion is, if it's, pets, if it's climate change, if it's health, if it's gender issues, whatever your passion is, volunteer. Spend some time just giving of yourself, giving of your time. You may find something that you want to make a career out of, something that you just personally enjoy. So I've given you some of my own personal experience. I've given you some tips that you can apply to your own path where you are. Talk to people sitting around you, talk to people virtually. I understand that you all aren't in the same room, and hopefully one day we all can be. But when I say sitting around you, in the chat, find out who's doing what, make some connections, start networking now. It will take you so far. You will get so much out of it. Start networking today. Network with me. I'm on LinkedIn, Pamela Taylor. I would love to hear from all of you, know about your experience with Leading Edge. And if there's anything that I can do to help you, guide you, coach you, mentor you, connect you to a network, I am more than happy to do it. Enjoy this time. Have a wonderful experience. And I can't wait to hear from all of you.